Do you have to stop drinking alcohol if you're trying to lose weight? This is a question that was recently asked by a member of the Lose Fat Get Jacked Inner Circle because alcohol has been his biggest challenge through his fat loss journey. Now, before I get to answering that question, let's first address the three most common challenges that alcohol presents when you're trying to lose weight. Number one is that alcohol dulls your inhibitions, which leads you to making poor decisions, and oftentimes those choices lead to you overeating. A great example of this would be some of my recent experiences. There were two events that I went to recently where I had one or two drinks spread across several hours. And on my way home, found myself thinking, you know what? I could go for some fast food right now, even though fast food typically doesn't appeal to me. And even though I wasn't hungry at the time, but sure enough, pulled to the drive-through, grabbed a meal, and really didn't enjoy the meals because again, it was something that didn't really appeal to me. It was just my dulled inhibitions that were leading me to make that choice. So going home feeling full from that meal in me, not overstuffed, like I didn't order a ton of food off the menu. It just was that I wasn't really hungry at the time. And having food in my stomach right before bed just led to a poor sleep and waking up the next day feeling a little bit bloated, a little bit lethargic, not as hungry, just not feeling quite like myself. So I didn't beat myself up. I didn't feel guilty about this experience, as with every similar situation like this. I'm like, how can I learn from this experience so I can improve the next time and do something that's going to serve me best? And sure enough, this past weekend, I was out at an event. It was about a 7-hour event that I was at. Dinner was a part of this experience. I had two drinks. They were mules, like a specialty mule from that restaurant. Savored every sip. They were delicious. And on my way home, again found myself thinking I could go for some fast food right now. I'm like, oh, Scott, this is the alcohol talking. Your inhibitions are dulled right now. You know, from the previous two experiences, like you're not hungry in this moment. You didn't enjoy that food. You know how you're going to feel crappy afterwards. And plus, like, if you're not going to feel hungry tomorrow, it's like taking away from you enjoying meals tomorrow when you're actually hungry that you actually look forward to having. So I had to, in that moment, I was on my way. I was like within a block of this fast food restaurant. I knew it. I was going to order, and I'm like talking to myself out. I'm like, yeah, you know what, Scott? Like, you're tired. Like, you're not hungry. Go to bed, get a good sleep, start the day tomorrow fresh, and have food that you actually want to have. And that's all I took was that counter argument in my head. And I felt victorious. I felt empowered, and it really served me best. So I broke myself out of that habit like 3 times, probably would have made it even more ingrained in me. Like whenever I go out and have a drink or two, fast food is what I'm going to have afterwards, even if I'm not hungry. I broke that habit by being aware in that situation, aware that my inhibitions were dull. It was the alcohol talking, and to come to my senses with that. Challenge number two is peer pressure. I have a client who has really dealt with the greatest peer pressure I've ever seen when it comes to alcohol, especially for grown adults. His spouse and his close circle of friends are big drinkers, and he was a big drinker, but he's been making some positive changes in his life for the past 2 years, recognizing that alcohol was really holding him back. Like, from enjoying life and living life to the fullest. Next day he'd feel like crap, feel lethargic, and he just wanted to better himself. So he wanted to be more responsible with his drinking. And even if he was having two drinks, having a couple of drinks with his friends, it just wasn't acceptable to them unless he was getting hammered with them. Like anything less than getting hammered was just not acceptable. And initially, it was just easier to give in to that pressure than to have to deal with the arguments and all that kind of stuff. But then when he realized how important it was to him to make those positive changes, he's explaining to them like, this, I'm trying to better myself here. I'm going to enjoy a couple of drinks with you guys. I just don't want to get hammered. And they didn't want to have anything to do with that. So then he had to learn to, all right, instead of like, I can't control what they think, what they do, what they say. I'm going to let them be them, but I can control how I internalize, interpret, react, and respond in these situations in a way that's going to serve me best. And it was just better for him to just nod his head, let them say what they want to say, and just keep doing him. doing what's going to serve him best in that moment. He's really grown throughout this process, really learning to handle these situations, these conflicts in a way that feels empowering to him and still having a great time in the process. I can relate to a little bit of that pressure, but nothing like that kind of extreme situation there. There's been 3 occasions in my life in the past 25 years where I've given up alcohol for over a year at a time. I think the first time was I gave it up for Lent, and it just became like afterwards, I'm like, I just lost the desire to have it. I just kept it going because it just was my way of life at that point. Other times I'm just like, I just don't feel like it right now. And it's the more you give, and the more you go without it, the less you kind of desire it. But I do enjoy it right now. So that first time I gave it up, there was a circle of people that I hung out with, and every time we got together, drinking was involved. And when I didn't brought my water bottle with me and didn't have any alcohol, yeah, I heard comments from them and a little bit of like jab here and there. It wasn't anything too bad, but I was doing it for me. I felt good about that decision. I didn't care what anyone else said. I'm a grown ass man. No one can pressure me to do what I don't want to do. And the next thing you know, it started seeing like once I initiated that, more people started showing up to these events and not drinking. They're realizing that I'm having a great time without drinking. You don't need to have alcohol to kind of fit in and have a good time. So it was really great to see how my influence it kind of gave others permission to not drink if they didn't want to either. Now, the other client who brought up this topic recently, I don't think it's so much pressure from others that has been causing him to drink more than he should. It seems to be like the weekends, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, when he's out with family and friends, alcohol's involved. It doesn't sound like it's pressures from others, but I think it's more pressure that comes from within. I haven't actually addressed this. It's just going through my mind right now. But oftentimes, like in these situations, if you're the only one not drinking, like it can kind of feel like you're the odd person out. Like, what are others thinking about me when I'm not drinking? Am I not fitting in? Are they judging me for not drinking? All that kind of stuff. You kind of drink to fit in, even if it's something that you don't necessarily want to do. Or even if you drink, it's harder for you. Again, it dulls your inhibition. So once you have one drink, it's easier to have two, have three. That glass of wine turns into a bottle, that kind of stuff. So it's kind of taking that pressure off of yourself in those situations. So not giving into your own pressure of trying to fit in those situations. Do what's going to serve you best, and others can think what they want to think. If they want to judge you, they can judge you. All that matters is that you're doing what's going to serve you best in those moments. Same thing with this client. So challenge number 3 is the habit. So part of that, it's been habit. You're used to going out with your friends. You're used to drinking wine together, having other drinks together. It's kind of been a part of that routine. With his wife, on the weekends, again, having a bottle of wine with dinner, relaxing and all that stuff. It's kind of been a part of their routine there. And again, it's like you kind of attach that wine, like a glass of wine turns into a bottle of wine, but you attach that wine to the experience. We're having a great time together because of the wine. It's not the wine. What matters most is that you are present with your partner. You're listening to them intently. You are caring for them. You're being genuine in these experiences and really giving the best of yourself to them in that moment. That's what matters most. You can remove alcohol from that situation. Maybe it'll be even better without the alcohol. But what matters most is the attention that you're giving to them. You're fully present and you're really embracing that experience with them. And again, you can, like, if they want to have a glass of wine, maybe it's their way of winding down at the end of the day, doesn't mean that you have to do it with them. You can still be there for them in those moments. And you don't have to have the bottle of wine. If you still want to share the experience with them, have a small glass of wine. Just sip on it slowly. Really savor every sip throughout that experience. But more than anything, savor that experience, the conversations that you're having with them, the embrace that you have with each other. They're like, savor those moments more than the wine itself. So the big thing is answering this question there. Do you need to stop drinking wine if you want to lose weight? The answer is no. It's just being responsible in those situations, recognizing that one glass often turns into more. So you're going to have to be aware in those situations to be responsible. You can just have a small little glass of wine rather than the entire bottle. And there can be times where you don't have any alcohol at all. If it's not something that you really want in that moment, don't have it. Make choices that are going to serve you best in those moments. I have gone through fat loss phases where I've enjoyed alcohol throughout the journey there. Not every day, but I know others who have had like a craft beer every single day. The key is that you're fitting that alcohol into your calorie target for the day. It means that you're gonna have to remove something else from the meals that you're eating in order to make room for those calories, but just being aware of how that alcohol is affecting you. Is it increasing your appetite? Is it having an impact on your mental focus and your clarity, your productivity? Is it the following day having an impact on your energy where you're not going to want to, you're not going to be able to give the best of yourself to your training. You're not going to give the same level of effort to your workouts, to your cardio. Maybe you're even going to sit on your butt a little bit more because you just don't have that same kind of drive to move your body because of even just one glass of alcohol. So being aware of how that alcohol is impacting you, not just calorie wise, but energy wise, focus wise, like really how it's impacting your ability to thrive throughout the day. And oftentimes when you view that, you really can recognize that it's not serving us best. Like alcohol really isn't good for us. If you can avoid it, that is freaking awesome. And for those of you who do avoid alcohol, I have so much admiration for you and respect for you because it does serve us best to not drink it. And again, I've done that multiple times in the past. Maybe I will do it in the future. I don't know. Right now, I'm just glad that I can be very responsible with my alcohol intake. Like I only have it from time to time and I keep it to just 1 to 2 glasses. Like I thrive from being productive. If I have more than 2 drinks, I know the next day I'm not going to be as productive. My mental focus and clarity isn't going to be there. I'm not going to perform well in the gym. I'm just going to not feel like myself. And it's just not, I don't want to feel like that anymore. I want to thrive. So I keep it to 1 or 2 drinks. And that's what serves me best. And knowing that I'm only doing it from time to time. And there's times like in the summer, the warmer months, I'm out in the backyard. It's gorgeous out. I'm soaking all in. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna pour myself a drink right here. And I know there's a stigma attached to drinking alone, but I don't know if 1 drink, I'm being responsible there, is going to enhance my experience in that moment. I'm all for it. Knowing that I don't drink that often and I'm not doing it to get drunk or anything like that. I just actually enjoy that experience. I savor every sip. So you can work it in there if you want to. That's basically the answer when it comes to this question here. You just got to make sure that you are responsible with your intake and paying attention to how it's impacting the consumption, your calorie target for the day, and how it's impacting your overall well-being in the process as well.